So, just when you thought fishing season was over, we get a couple more warm days. It's like 52 degrees. So I figured I'd come out here just to see if there's a bite. And there very well may not be a bite. Right now I'm using spinnerbait. Just to see if anything's out there. As you can see, I'm casting in all different directions. I think a lot of things that, or one of the things that new anglers, got a bite there. One of the things that new anglers do is they like to constantly cast in the same spot. And when you cast in the same spot over and over and over again, is you're limiting your strike zones. Strike zones are where fish are going to hit. And you got different types of fish out there. You have bass that lie in wait. They wait for bait fish or bluegill to swim by, and then they ambush them. Then you have bass that do drive-bys. Especially in a river, they'll move up and down the river. They'll just swim up and down the river. And when they see an opportunity, they'll take it. So if you're constantly casting in the same spot, you're limiting your strike zones. So what you want to do is you want to cast all over the place. If you're a shore angler, you don't have a boat, your options are limited. You don't know what the depth of the water is. You don't know what the temperature of the water is. You can't really see any fish. So there's a lot of guesswork involved, but there's a lot of experience involved too. Use those strike zones. Cast to the left, to the right, further out front. Cast along the actual shore to see if there's something along the shore. And you'll increase your chances to get a bite. That's strike zones. And that's what I'm doing here. I got a spinner bait. So I don't want to get it caught in the trees, but I'm trying to get it closer to the shore. Because I had a bite over here. So I'm doing some follow-up cast in that area. It seemed like a small fish though. Last time I used a spinnerbait, I caught a small white bass, which is a rarity. But I've caught 3 white bass this year. 2 in the summer and 1 a couple weeks ago. Because this is a small profile bait, smaller fish are going to jump on it. And this white bass was a tiny one. But it was bigger than the ones I caught up at the falls though. But since fish get lazy in the fall, but they're also trying to bulk up for the winter. A lot of the baits they tell you to use are finesse baits, the slower baits, some crankbaits, obviously, stick worms like Senkos, and spinnerbaits. Spinnerbaits aggravate fish. They're bright. They reflect light, they make noise. So that's what I'm doing now. Trying to see how the bite is with spinnerbait here in this water. And I don't know what the temperature is. I'm not about to put my hands down there. But as the temperature gets lower and lower and lower, the fish get more lethargic. And what ends up happening is, in the fall, in the winter, the water in the shore is colder than the deeper water. So a lot of fish will go deep for warmer water to equalize things. Just like in the summer, when the shore water is warmer, fish will go deeper for cooler water to equalize things. It really depends on what's going on. If it's the spawn, they like to stay shallow. They're feeding a lot, and they stay shallow to get their meals, chase all of their shads and bait fish. And as the Bubba Bass Anglers crew fishes more waters, we get more experience. I don't care who you are. I don't care if you're Bill Dance. I don't care if you're Kevin Van Dam. you're always learning new things, and you're learning how to use new baits, and there's always education. You're always educating yourself when you're fishing. Never stop learning. We got some movement out there. So that's what I'm doing. This is the most fishing I think I've ever done in a year. And my fishing skill at the beginning of the year was nothing compared to what it is now. I've learned so much. I've experimented with new baits. I used to just be a crankbait guy, and then I became a Senko guy. And now I'm screwing around with frogs and jigs and tubes and everything else. I can't wait to break out those tubes and those jigs during the spawn, just to learn how to use them. But up until August, I think it was, of this year, I had never caught a fish or a bass on a rubber worm. And I threw a Senko on, and I think the first fish I caught with a Senko was a pickerel, and then I caught my first bass on a Senko. And they love Senkos. They absolutely love those stick worms, and I don't know what it is, because there's nothing in the water that looks like a worm. It's not part of their natural resources. They hunt for shad, crawdad, bluegill, things that look like fish, you know, but there's nothing that looks like a worm in the water. And they just absolutely love it. And I think it's because there is nothing that looks like it. And there's this small thing that can fit in their mouth that's moving. So they try to eat it. Either that, or they reaction strike it. Like, what the fuck are you doing in my area? You know?